Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Our guest today will deep dive into the gold market, from its price action, inflation, and the impact it has on the sector, the company's project updates, revenue, funds, and what investors should know for the rest of 2022. He is the president and CEO of Newlox Gold Ventures Corporation. Ryan Jackson's joining us today. But before we bring you Ryan's interview, do me one quick favor and just go ahead and smash on that subscribe button so we can continue to make you these videos. Hey Ryan, welcome back to The Dive.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Okay, so the Federal Reserve signaled that it's looking to raise interest rates by 50 basis points at the next two meetings, in line with market expectations. With all the inflation pressures around, why do you think that gold hasn't caught more of a bid?
I think in a general sense, a lot of money has been pulled out of the markets and is being held in cash as people are looking to redeploy capital at lower prices. So I think that that's really had a huge impact on much of the market and is really depressing the prices of a lot of things right now.
Well, gold's been holding steady around the $1,850 level. What do you think needs to happen for gold to drive back up to all-time highs?
So we're seeing more and more buying from a country level. A quick look through the newspapers will show you that on a national scale, many mints and many treasuries are currently buying gold. However, like I said earlier about sort of the more retail level, I think a lot of people are sitting on cash right now. I would expect that as we move forward and we see the inflation continue to go, that's going to have a big impact on gold. I always think that gold is something that you hold to keep your cash. It's not really the thing that you buy to make significant money in the short term. But as we go forward with inflation, I think we're going to continue to see gold rise in a steady way.
Okay, now let's talk Newlox Gold. You posted an update that about the company's ongoing construction of the Boston Clean Gold project. What can you tell us at this point? And do you have a timeline as to when we can expect to see this in full production?
Yes, so we're really pleased with what's happening at Boston right now. We had some delays over the winter, which were very frustrating for us. Procurement was a big issue, basically for anybody who's building anything almost anywhere in the world over the last 6 to 8 months. However, that being said, we received the equipment we needed, and now we're on with construction and we're moving ahead with gusto. We've been posting photographs and videos and things of the construction process as it goes forward. That plant will be fully built this year, and we're expecting it to be ramped up to full scale next year.
Awesome. Okay, so the company reported quarter-over-quarter revenue growth of 145%. to $784,000. Can you walk us through where this came from and how sustainable is this?
Yeah, so that quarter over quarter growth, of course, it's a big number in percentage wise, and the market reacted well to it. So we were quite pleased with that. That was all part of the ramp up of processing plant 1, which is still ongoing. Although that was a great result, and certainly moving forward, over 100% growth quarter over quarter is fantastic. However, that was actually quite a bit slower than we intended. And so that level of growth or better should be sustained going forward until we reach full scale, which is around 6,500 ounces of gold per year from that first processing plant. So that's quite exciting, but our growth isn't going to stop there. So once processing plant 1 is at full scale, as we said, we have the second processing plant currently in construction. That one will be ramping up to 20,000 ounces per year at full scale. And of course, we've also put out news releases that we have multiple projects in due diligence in Latin America currently. So the idea here is to deliver continuous growth. As processing plant 1 hits full scale, processing plant 2 starts ramping up and gets to full scale. And when that happens, the third processing plant should be completing construction and starting to ramp up as well. And on we go from there.
Okay, so last month you announced the company's new ball mill and other critical equipment. For our viewers, can you walk us through the use of the ball mill, and how can this help the company advance its Boston expansion project?
Yes, absolutely. So the ball mill is the most critical piece of infrastructure for processing Plant 2, the Boston project. And basically what that does is ore is received from our artisanal mining partners in Costa Rica. That ore is then crushed and then put into the ball mill, which is the largest piece of equipment at the plant. And basically what that does is it pulverizes the rock down to a powder and allows us to take it on to the next steps of flotation and gravity concentration before intensive leaching as the back end. So it is the most important piece of equipment there. This is really what we were waiting for as far as getting the construction going more quickly. And so we now have everything we need. Construction is advancing quickly at the Boston project.
Now, how do you ensure all the company's initiatives remain well-funded?
So that's something that we've really focused on. At the end of 2020, December 31st, 2020, we closed our last major financing. And that was really good because it brought us into 2021 fully funded for all of the company's current endeavors. Now, this was quite unusual for a resource company that's building things and spending money. But we spent money all year, and we actually ended the year having pretty much the same amount we started with. And the way that we did that is we designed our financing program to include convertible securities. And so over last year, we exercised, or we brought through a lot of convertible securities, which funded the company and continue to fund the company today. And from our perspective, the biggest risk that we see is the capital markets. As we've seen through the pandemic and through all of this time, capital markets have been going up and down, and it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen next. What we know is that we're confident in our business plan. We're confident that as we produce gold, there will be buyers and the prices will be good. So the biggest risk for us that we could see was that the markets were poor and we had to raise additional financing. And so in order to make sure that that wouldn't affect us in a negative way, we raised enough cash and we set it up so that those convertible securities would continue to fund us as we move forward. And that's exactly what's happened. So the company is fully funded for everything it's currently doing. Plant 1 ramp up, Plant 2 construction and ramp up, all fully funded. So we're going to be delivering gold and we don't have that capital market risk. We're very happy to be able to say that.
Okay, great. So one more thing before we let you go here, Ryan. What should investors look out for with Newlox Gold for the rest of 2022?
This is going to be a tremendous year for the company. There's a few major things that everybody's been waiting for. Number one is full scale at processing Plant 1. Number two is the completion of construction at Boston, and then all the news flow that will come through testing, commissioning, and ramp up of Plant 2. And then, of course, Plant 3. We've been looking in multiple jurisdictions. We've talked a lot about Brazil, where we have tremendous opportunities. We've also been looking in Colombia and Ecuador. We have multiple projects in due diligence at varying levels. However, we'll be announcing our third project before the end of the year and starting up on it next year. So main news flow is growth, growth, growth. Project 1 growing, Project 2 coming into operations, finishing construction, and Project 3 being announced. So we're going to take this little resource company and we're going to grow it. And that's going to be for the benefit of all stakeholders. As an ESG-focused growing junior gold company, we're a company that delivers environmental and social benefits to our local stakeholders, as well as economic benefits, both to local stakeholders and to our shareholders.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us and giving us the update, Ryan. We'll be excited to see what happens next.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here. And as always, I'll be watching the show.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. We'll be back again tomorrow with the latest news and updates. So be sure to stay tuned by hitting that notification bell and subscribing below before you leave. Bye.